Okay, welcome to Liquid Nutrition. Inside of this lesson, I'm going to talk a little bit about the paradox there is with consuming liquids that are high in calories. See, calorie-dense liquids are the biggest contributors to the mid-body spread. So that is body fat gain around your tummy, around your hips, around your thighs. And the middle age spread. So as you age, and that tummy getting bigger and bigger, those hips and those thighs and all those unwanted areas getting larger, calorie-containing liquids are by far the biggest contributor to those things. So in the beginning of this lesson, I'm going to put a pretty big bash on alcohol. You probably expected up until this point, knowing now that an alcohol is a metabolic blocker. So I'm going to go through the double-edged sword that alcohol is. I'm going to talk about why it is a metabolic blocker, and then I'm going to, as the presentation goes on, as the video goes on, I'll talk about how you can incorporate it in a smart way, okay? After that, we're going to talk about what you can replace your calorie-dense liquids with so that you're making better choices, okay? And you're making those choices count. There are a lot of hidden calories in liquids. Alcohol, take alcohol for example. Alcohol is essentially sugar that is fermented, okay? So it goes through a process, and in that process, it becomes more potent. If you look at all the macronutrients, carbohydrates and proteins, they have around 4 calories per gram. Alcohol has about 7 calories per gram, so it is very energy dense. It's on par with fat. Fat is 9 calories per gram. So it's a standard drink would be equal to, so a 100 ml standard drink would be equal to 100 grams of butter in terms of energy that you're consuming. So you can see how easy it is to blow out an entire week of work with 1 hour long, 2 hour long, 3 hour long session on a Sunday. On top of that, alcohol is actually inflammatory. So when you drink it, it inflames the small intestine. And now that's where all of your nutrients are absorbed. So when we're talking on a metabolic blocker standpoint, it blocks the nutrient pathways for your body. So if you're eating something, then you're going to get half the benefit of it in terms of all your good efforts with what you're trying to choose to fuel your body. And inside of that, you have the problem of glucose not getting to the brain, bad sugar levels, poor blood sugar levels and so forth, and your muscles not getting the protein that it needs to recover and recuperate. So weekend of drinking, you may as well not even train for the next 7 days. That's how much of a blunting effect it has when consumed in excess. Now, this news isn't all bad news. Alcohol, when you've got it structured and you're keeping an eye on it, well, it can be incorporated into your life quite easily. For example, if you think back to that classification, 1 standard drink a day or more than 7 in a week is kind of the top end of your alcohol consumption. If you're having more than that, then that is your cornerstone habit. If you're having more than 7 drinks in a week or more than 1 drink a day, there's no more effective way to lose body fat than to just simply cut that back to less than 7 in a week or 1 a day. If you're having less than 7 in a week or 1 a day, then the process becomes one of identifying how much you're actually having, the result that you're currently getting, and if you're not wanting to reduce the amount of alcohol that you're having, looking at other ways to improve the result until that result becomes stuck, and then looking again at the equation of, well, do I want to keep this alcohol at 5 standard drinks a week, or do I want that extra little bit of leanness, that little bit of strength over here? And it becomes that whole growth process that I talk about a lot, which is why coaching is really beneficial after the first 30 days. Moving on, other calorie-dense liquids are hot chocolates, syrups and coffees. full strength cordial, full strength soft drink, you've got juices as well. Anything that is a liquid and that has calories in it is going to be pretty dense, right? And the problem with this is it's really accessible for your body. Your body gets it and it's kind of like sucks it all up. If you were to compare eating 10 oranges to drinking 10 oranges, it's much easier for you to drink the 10 oranges than it is to eat the 10 oranges. And the 10 oranges would keep you fuller for longer than that small juice of 10 oranges would as well, because all the fiber and stuff has been taken out. So with all of that said about calorie-dense liquids, let's start to look at some alternatives that you can replace the calorie-dense liquids with. The first zero-calorie liquid that I'm going to talk about is water. We don't get enough of it. Our kids don't get enough of it either. Now, if you've ever tried to drink 2 litres of water in a day, it's a pretty hard task. You have to be pretty motivated and pretty on point with your willpower and your motivation to actually do it. So how do we increase our water intake so that we don't have to rely on that and it just becomes a part of everyday life? What you need to do is you need to add flavour to that water. It makes water much more palatable and you're going to be more likely to eat it. So what I have here in front of me, I'll just move this skim milk, is I've got an example of a tea that we like in our house. Teas are great because they add flavour with minimal calories, 1 calorie maybe. This is a strawberry, raspberry and loganberry flavour. It's Twinings. Twinings have a huge range in Coles, supermarkets, Woolworths, and they're about $2 a box. And you get 10 in there, and they go a long way. In this jug here, which is about 3 litres, I have 2 tea bags. I also have some orange slices, and I've even put some mint from our garden in there as well. Now that's kind of like a little mocktail in itself. And if you were looking at the alcohol over here and thinking, well, 1 standard glass of Chardonnay really isn't that much, you could quite easily, on a hot Sunday, add the glass of Chardonnay to this jug here over here and enjoy that glass of Chardonnay in a tasty cocktail of sorts and drink it over the course of an hour. Rather than drinking 3 or 4 of these in that course of an hour, you can spread that out over the whole jug. Okay, now obviously making that a regular habit isn't going to take you closer towards your goals, but in this conversation, it's more about making choices that go towards your goal a certain percentage of the time, a higher percentage that is more than making choices that take you away from your goals. Okay, so tea is great. Another tip here is to add ice to that tea. Okay, add ice to it and stick it in the fridge and keep it in the fridge. It's going to be nice and chilled and very tasty. Great for the hot summers that we get here in Australia. Another choice is cordial. Okay, low joule cordial, so no sugar added. You've got to be very careful with the packaging because sometimes it can come in as no added sugar, where it's got sugar in it. They just haven't added sugar in it, right? So it's kind of like a play on words, and they do it to try and trick you. This has stevia in it. Some of them have some artificial sweeteners in it. When we're looking at the conversation of artificial sweetener versus sugar, I can guarantee you that sugar kills more people every single year than artificial sweetener does. In fact, you'd have to have artificial sweetener in huge copious amounts over a consistent period of time for it to have any negative impact. And that negative impact isn't really conclusive. So all the propaganda that you see about artificial sweetener drinks and cancer-causing properties, it comes through the propaganda of food industry. And this is where nutrition can get really confusing because you have multi-trillion-dollar food industries like the sugarcane industry trying to combat stevia and trying to combat artificial sweeteners. And they're seeing their margins drop and they're kind of like, well, how do I scare the population into enjoying me again, right? And that's kind of like where you get that silly argument from. So artificial sweetener, if you're having it in small amounts, you're not eating it from the jar, and you're drinking plenty of water and you're exercising and you're putting fruits and vegetables into your body that have anti-cancer properties, it's not going to have a huge impact on you. Probably get hit by a car and be more likely to die than having that artificial sweetener. I say that in jest because I know there are some people out there who are really consumed by this argument and they get sucked in. Okay, so that's there to relieve your worries. Moving forward from there, just be careful with syrups and coffees, as I've already mentioned. If you're having a latte and you're only having a shot of coffee and the rest is milk, then you might want to consider going to skim milk. No, skim milk doesn't have added sugar. They don't add sugar to it to make it taste better. That's an old wives' tale. Skim milk is the fat off the top skimmed. That's it. Okay? It's got more protein in it, more calcium in it, much better for you than full cream milk. If you have dairy problems, you don't want to drink cow's milk, don't drink it. Have water, have almond milk, rice milk, oat milk, have some other kind of milk. Experiment, try things out. I don't want you to get into the this is good and this is bad argument. I want you to get into that place where you are your own body is scientist. You're starting to experiment and you're looking to see how your body changes. That's essentially the Fit Mum way of thinking. To finish off, I've already mentioned here that when you drink an energy-dense drink, your body has the ability to absorb that energy much easier than if we were to eat it, right? Now, this can be played into our advantage. If our body absorbs liquids much easier, you could potentially increase the nutrition as well, the nutrition that your body is getting. So stay with me here for a second because this will change the way you think about food. If you're trying to improve your meal frequency, but you can't chew through 6 meals a day, then the old liquid meal will help your body get the nutrients it needs without the extra calories. You just need to follow a process to make sure it doesn't get those extra calories, because if you're going to boost juice or you're going to a smoothie place, chances are they're not worried about how much energy you get. They just worry about you loving it and coming back for more. Okay, and most of the time when you add calories, that's what you get, because calories are a cheap way to increase the satiety and the taste of a meal. To create a liquid meal, you need the 3 ingredients of a metabolically precise meal. A first class protein. We have that here as a WPI from Bulk Nutrients. This is cheap, okay? This is high quality as well. So if you've ever been on isogenics or you've ever bought supplements from a supplement shop and you've been like, oh my God, I can't keep this up. This is almost a third the price, and I would argue almost more than double the quality. The thing with supplements is a lot of companies will always be focused on their bottom line and getting the biggest amount of profit, right? And when you look at the way the packaging is in the big stores and even isogenics, you've got big tubs half filled with protein, and if you look at the back, you see ingredients like crude protein or milk solids protein. You have whey concentrate, whey isolate, and it can get very confusing. The general rule with supplement and protein powder is the less ingredients, the better. Okay, 2 to 3 ingredients. That should be about it. I mean, on the back of this here, we've got 1, 2, 3. Whey protein isolate, flavoring, and sweetener. That's it. Okay, so the less ingredients, the better. And you're looking for the words WPI, whey protein isolate, or WPC, whey protein concentrate. And for a final check, if you're looking at your nutrition panel, you want to see per 100 grams at least 80 grams of protein. If there's less than 80 grams of protein, you're paying a premium for exotic ingredients that don't necessarily work. Some of the tricks of the supplement industry are putting in expensive ingredients in a small amount that isn't actually beneficial, or they're putting ingredients in that aren't necessarily beneficial, haven't been proven, and they're just to jazz the protein up. Fat-burning proteins are one of the worst culprits. You'll also need low-energy plant food after the protein. Frozen berries are the choice today. and these are frozen raspberries. So frozen raspberries, they actually taste a little bit like cherries to me, and almost taste a bit cherry ripey, rocky roady when combined with the protein powder that's chocolate and it tastes good. Okay, so I like to combine those, but you can combine anything that's low energy, that's frozen or even not frozen. Fruits, veggies. I've had a mum add kidney beans to a liquid meal, and that didn't really go down too well for her. She gave me a heads up on that one. So don't go too nuts with it. But put your favourite fruit in there. You might want to put some celery or some spinach leaves in there as well to boost the greens that you're having in your day. And then you also need your omega-3. And there's one more ingredient that you'll need to make this metabolically precise liquid meal, because obviously if you mix all the solids together, they stay solid. On that, while you're thinking about what that other ingredient is, I'm going to give you a tip here. If you want to make this liquid meal process easier, then bagging up your dry ingredients into the little bags of single serves, and then mixing your liquids with your low energy plant food before you leave for the day it makes things so much easier, so that when you're putting it together in a shaker, you've got your liquid, you've got your berries that are already buzzed up. This is if you don't have a portable blender. And then you add your protein and you add your omega-3, you shake it all up and you can down that meal and hey, you're done. And I've got paramedic mums who use this strategy. I've got mums who are breastfeeding and can't eat while they're breastfeeding using this strategy. And it's one tip that I really love. So you'll need those ingredients. You'll also need a metabolically precise liquid. Have you thought of what that might be yet? I'll give you a hint. It's 0 calorie, or at least low calorie. So if you are a cow milk drinker, skim milk. If you're not, any milk, almond milk, rice milk, soy milk, oat milk. There's a milk for everything these days. Add the milk, okay, and or water. Okay, I like mine on water. I've got about a cup of water here. Don't add too much water. The reason you don't want to add too much water is it's going to make it very liquidy and hard for you to drink. Okay, if you think of all this water, food slushing around in your gut, it makes for a queasy belly. So one of the biggest mistakes you'll make when you first start is adding too much liquid. Here, I've got about 200 mils maybe, 200 mils of liquid, and then I'm going to add this frozen berries here. I'm going to add about a cup. I'm starving right now, so I can't wait to drink this. A cup of berries and the omega-3. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of this flax meal. Okay, that's a teaspoon, that was 2 teaspoons. And then I'm going to open up this WPI. I'm going to have a scoop of this. Now, you're not as big as me. You may only need a tablespoon of this WPI, right? Especially when you first begin, you don't want to, again, overload yourself. I'm going to add some ice in there as well. The ice, it makes the drink thicker and almost makes it like a bit of a creamy dessert that you can eat with a spoon. Once you do all that, it's as simple as putting it in the blender. And as you can see there, that's delicious. That's going to be very thick. You can almost eat it with a spoon. I don't have a spoon here, so you just have to believe me. Okay? And that brings me to the end now of liquid nutrition. So, the principles that I want you to take here are: watch your calorie-dense liquids. The most effective way to reduce fat, especially around the stomach and those trouble spots, is to reduce the amount of calorie-containing liquids that you have. You don't have to go cold turkey. You can make your alcohol go further by mixing it up with a cocktail mix, in something that is low in energy. So rather than going out and grabbing your cocktail mixes that are full of sugar, go to some effort, put some tea bags in there, put some fruits. You can make a mojito with mint. You can put oranges and mint, and it's almost like sangria, right? And you can get away with more for the amount that you're actually having. And then finally, use liquid nutrition to your advantage. So if you're at the stage right now where you've replaced your 3 meals a day with meals from the Cook Bible, and you're feeling a little bit peckish, especially around the morning tea time or afternoon tea time, try one of these bad boys, get them into you. It's going to make you feel full for longer. It's going to get you from lunch to dinner. It'll even get you through the nights. Okay, it'll get you through the night well as well. So if you don't feel like making a dessert as shown in the last pillar, you could have a liquid meal just before bed, drink that, and you'll have the best night's sleep, guarantee it.